Move the camera. Whoops, whoops, I don't want to hurt your arm.
Ouch.
Oops, dang nabbit.
What?
Nothing. Jack and I have one last story to do today, and then Jack, he would have read 10 stories with me.
Why did it came out?
I don't know, but he would have read 10 stories with me and Jack. This is a lot for Jack to accomplish, and for me, because Jack has a hard time focusing. And these 3-minute stories have averaged to take about 10 to 12 minutes. Not that there's anything wrong with Jack, he's just a kid. So it has been a struggle for both of us to make it through these 10 stories. But now that this is the 10th and last story,
Ow.
Whoops, you okay? Did I get you? Now that this is the 10th and last story, Jack gets to go to Walmart and pick out a toy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so this is called The Lord Calls Samuel, out of 1 Samuel 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 3. Long ago in ancient Israel, many people disobeyed. They ignored God and his promises and didn't care what he'd say. Look, you can see the kids sticking out their tongues. Have you ever done that to someone?
No.
No. Look at the baby crying. These ladies are gabbing. They're talking real secretive about somebody. Then this guy is stealing from their basket. These ladies back here are fighting and bickering. It looks like these guys are about ready to start fighting. But there were those who did love God, like Elkanah and his wife. They faithfully gave God offerings and honored him in their life. Although God had blessed them richly, Hannah didn't have a son. There were children in the neighborhood, but poor Hannah, she didn't even have one. Aw, look at poor Hannah over here. She's crying because she doesn't have a baby. She wants a baby so bad. Hannah took each and every worry, all her sorrows, hurts, and tears, to the temple of priest Eli, to the God who really hears. Lord, look on me, your servant. Please give me a son, she prayed. Then I will give him back to you to serve you all his days. Then Hannah's prayer was answered with a beautiful baby boy. She named the baby Samuel. He was her pride and joy. Look, there's the little baby boy. That's Samuel. But Hannah still remembered the promise that she made. She brought Samuel to priest Eli, and that's where Samuel stayed. Samuel served God in the temple. He lived with Eli and his sons. Samuel saw the sons' great wickedness. Eli disciplined no one. So Samuel served God in the temple, and he lived with Eli and his sons. I forget what the sons' names were, but they were pretty wicked. But Eli never disciplined them, and that came back to bite him in the butt. It's pouring down rain. That has distracted Jack. So Samuel got to live with Eli, the priest. He served God. The mother had made a promise that if God gave her a child, that he would serve the Lord. So she kept her promise. But look here, look what happened. One night while he lay sleeping, Samuel heard a voice he knew. So he went to Eli's room to ask, "Priest Eli, is that you?" "Go back to bed now, Samuel. It wasn't me, that's clear." Samuel went to bed, but once again he heard the voice so near. So Samuel keeps on waking up because he keeps on hearing a voice. What do you think? Who do you think the voice is? Who could it be? Who's talking to Samuel? He thinks it's Eli. But Eli says it's not him. So he heard the voice so near. 2 more times he went to Eli. 2 more times Eli sent him to bed. Finally Eli said, "Now Samuel, I know this isn't in your head. Say, 'Speak, Lord, I am listening,' next time his voice calls you. Then come and tell me all he said."
Is it in?
Not yet, but look. God is speaking to Samuel. He didn't know it was God's voice. He thought it was Eli. Sometimes we can confuse God's voice too. "Then come and tell me all he said so that I may know it too." So Samuel obeyed priest Eli and did as he said. The voice of the Lord then told him Eli and his sons would soon be dead. Well, that's disappointing. God did exactly as he said. In Samuel's wake-up call, Then he used Samuel throughout the land as his messenger to them all. Like Samuel, you can hear God speak. In the Bible, God's holy word, his word tells of our many sins and the best news ever heard. God called you and he made you his, baptized with his God called you and he made you his, baptized with his word and water. You were brought to God through Christ and made his precious son or daughter. So we just have to learn to remember to listen to God, huh? When God calls us, sometimes we can confuse who's talking to us. We might think it's somebody else talking to us, huh?
Yeah.
See ya.
Daddy.
That's it, Jack. That's it. Thanks everyone for joining Jack and I for our first 10 books. We have a little list on the board. Jack got to go to Walmart yesterday and pick out a few toys. And some of you might be thinking, why do you keep on reading these books to Jack when he gets so distracted? Well, the reason is he is at that perfect age, that tender age, when we can teach them and mold them. Once they reach a certain age, they are who they are. But when they're little like this, we still have that advantage. And in Proverbs 22:6, this is the English Standard Version, it says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So even though kids may be rebellious at times, they'll eventually come back around to what they were taught as a child. And the best gift you can give your child or your grandchild or your niece or your nephew is the gift of God. So what we can learn from the story of Samuel is that he sought God because his mother sought God. Samuel knew God because his mother knew God. Our children know God because we know God. So it's so important to get that word out there. Samuel sought God and heard a word from God. He was available to hear God. He was quick to respond and quick to listen. Once he realized who was speaking to him, he listened. And there's so many voices out there who are trying to take our attention off of God, and they will try to take us down the wrong path. Be focused, be still, realize who God is and what he can do for you. Continually seek to grow in God. Samuel did that even though his sons turned away from God. And be willing to listen to God's word and not let it fail. When God speaks to you, if it is a warning, let others know about it. Samuel listened to God. He grew in God. We need to teach our children to be like Samuel. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to doing another 10 stories. And then Jack gets a trip to Walmart once again. And I'm going to keep on doing this as long as I can. Because my child, my children, my grandchildren, they are all so important to me. And I want them to know God. Have a great week, everyone.